How's it going, everyone? We are coming up on the month of November, and after the PlayStation Plus price hike, and after I just talked about Sony's statement, or the statement from the person at PlayStation about the Plus price hike, I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about PlayStation Plus for the month of November and games that I would love to see as a part of the service. The service should be announcing the games here very shortly. I imagine they'll get leaked by Deal Labs once again, Biblikun, in the coming days, but I wanted to run down titles that I think would be good additions to PlayStation Plus, Essential and Extra. If they want to roll these into Extra, I mean, more power to them. I think I offer a lot of great suggestions here. Obviously, when it comes to these videos, I try to be relatively reasonable. I know some people are going to be like, I want Spider-Man 2 day one, and I know that's not going to happen. But you know what? Not on this list, but Spider-Man Remastered would actually have been a great title to offer for Plus Essential subscribers, especially like coming off of the price increase. If they offered that in like September, I actually think people would have been pretty excited about that, and it could have been used as a promotional vehicle for Spider-Man 2, but yeah, that opportunity is gone, but I don't know, that's still a game they could add to the service. I got 7 titles here, so let's get right into it, and I'll start things off with Tales of Arise. Whether they want to do this on Plus Essential or Extra, I think this is a pretty good one to work out a deal for with Bandai Namco, who have worked fairly well with Sony and PlayStation. Hell, there's rumors that they're working on a PlayStation IP right now, but Tales of Arise is getting a major expansion in November with Beyond the Dawn. Maybe you don't want to cut into the complete edition release that is coming out, so offering it on PlayStation Plus might affect that, but I think as a Plus Essential or a Plus Extra title, we've seen this be fairly effective. Like Sony dropping Horizon Forbidden West on Plus Extra and then also dropping The Burning Shores. I think that's a pretty good idea to go with. You get more people playing the game, hopefully they enjoy the game, and then they'll check out the expansion as well. And Beyond the Dawn looks to be a sizable expansion with 30 hours of content, and it's going to be a $30 expansion as well. Makes sense to offer something like Tales of Arise, especially because the game these days goes for fairly cheap, so it's not like, you know, it's a super expensive game or anything like that, like around 20 bucks on sale. Even cheaper than that if you buy it physically, in fact. And the game itself is great. Tales of Arise was one of my favorite games of 2021, I think, as a Plus Extra title would be great, and at this point, again, it is 2 years old, so it's not like breaking the bank or anything. Next up, another 2-year-old game and another one of my favorite titles from 2021, Resident Evil 8 Village. This is another game that has a sizable amount of additional content, DLC. Obviously, there's the Gold Edition. I am here asking for the Standard Edition because that is more reasonable. Resident Evil Village is a fantastic game. It was one of my favorites of that year again. Just an incredibly atmospheric, engrossing survival horror title. I know it's kind of missing the October wave and going into November, but Resident Evil is Resident Evil. Like, you can enjoy that game any time of the year. It's not like they exclusively release Resident Evil games in October. The Village is a great game, story is really solid, and again, atmosphere is incredibly strong, and it's got a really solid VR component in there as well. It's not mandatory, but if you have VR too, really solid addition there as well. Next up, Monster Hunter Rise. Throwing this one in the list because, you know what, this came out in early January, but it was a delayed release on console, so it's a little bit dated at this point. We've got a lot of content rollouts. We have Sunbreak as an expansion, and I'm not saying, you know, drop the complete edition, but Monster Hunter Rise as its own title, I think, would be fairly good. A lot of rumblings around the potential of Monster Hunter World 2 dropping in just a few months. Capcom is reiterating that they've got a major AAA game that's going to be released by the end of March that they expect to sell millions. Well, Monster Hunter World 2 would certainly fit that bill, and I would like to see it, but you know, for November, I think Rise would be a nice addition. And it's not like this is a super expensive game these days. It goes on sale for $19.99, so this is a Plus Essential or Extra title being rolled in, I think would be quite valuable. And yeah, Capcom and Sony have always had a pretty strong relationship, so this one makes quite a lot of sense as well. Next up, Borderlands 3. I mean, Borderlands is always going to be an IP with a lot of cachet, it's going to have a lot of name value, and it is a co-op focused title, so when you talk about multiplayer titles, I think it's always a good idea to roll out something like this, because Borderlands is obviously accentuated by its multiplayer, even though I remain of the opinion that you can easily play the Borderlands games solo and have a great time with them as well. But as a Plus Essential title, I think people would be excited by it. Even if it is a game that goes for sub $10 on the regular these days, I think just the Borderlands name value would mean a lot. And this is another game, has a sizable amount of DLC. Offer the base game. You could try to, you know, get people into that and then buy the DLC content as well. Next up, here's one that, you know, might be a tall order, but you know what? With the PlayStation Plus price hike, I feel like it's apropos to ask for games a little bit more on the pricier side. What about Dying Light 2, man? Dying Light 2 is a game that came out in February 2022. I feel like Techland got a lot of mileage out of it. People enjoyed the game, maybe not as much as Dying Light 1, but at this point, they're working on a lot of bonus content, a lot of DLC. What's the harm in offering Dying Light 2 as a Plus Essential title or rolling it into Plus Extra? Obviously, they're gonna get a pretty penny from Sony, and then they can focus on DLC and selling the DLC content. I still thought Dying Light 2 was a really solid game. I played it right when it came out back in February of last year, and I had a really great time with the game. I thought the story was really gripping for the first half. I feel like it kind of falls apart in the second half and not a satisfying conclusion, but what can you do there? The open world is incredibly sizable with a lot of optional content. If you're looking to do everything in Dying Light 2, it is a big undertaking. I feel like from a gameplay standpoint, combat in particular, it is a bit of a drop-off from Dying Light 1, which is a little interesting, a little disappointing as well. But the parkour in Dying Light 2 with the bigger world, oh my goodness. The parkour gameplay is just fantastic. Traversal, platforming, those aspects I feel like they absolutely nailed with Dying Light 2. It's not a visual home run either. I mean, it is a cross-gen game at the end of the day, so, you know, expectations need to be at a certain level, and even then, when it launched, it had some visual inconsistencies, some bugs and glitches. I mean, for a big open world game like this, it just seems like that is the regular way that things go. But Dying Light 2 is a solid game, and it goes for like 25 bucks on sale, 30 bucks on sale. Yeah, is it gonna be a title that maybe might be a little bit tall of an ask, but it's a year and a half old at this point, 20 months old. It's just holding up in price for some reason, but I can easily see come Black Friday it being down to like 15 bucks for a physical copy of the game. I find that to be actually pretty likely that it's gonna be around $15. And again, I had a good time with Dying Light 2. Didn't like it as much as the first, but what can you do? Dying Light 1 was just tremendous. And Dying Light 2 is a game that over the years is just going to get better and better. Like Techland, you saw what they did with Dying Light 1. They consistently rolled out new content. Yeah, some of it was paid, and then some of it was just, then at some point, some of it was just included in these various editions they kept releasing. But yeah, hopefully they do the same with Dying Light 2, because that deluxe edition is still going for like 70 bucks, which is a little wild there. A couple more games to go over. Cult of the Lamb. This has a PlayStation Plus premium trial, but an incredibly well-received game that dropped back in August of 2022. Start your own cult in a land of false prophets, venturing out into diverse and mysterious regions to build a loyal community of woodland followers and spread your word to become a true cult. This is a game that was incredibly well-received, but I think offering it as one of the main games might be an issue. It would be good as a complimentary title, and I think people would appreciate it more there. Like, if you got, let's say, Dying Light 2 and Cult of the Lamb as a secondary game, oh my goodness, like, that is exactly the type of month I feel like after the Plus price increase we should be getting. Like, Dying Light 2, Cult of the Lamb, and then, like, another game on top of that that might be a little bit smaller, but that would be a satisfactory month. Yes, that's a little bit, you know, that's a lot, but I think that would be of quality. And lastly, Giant Squid and Annapurna Interactive's The Pathless. This game comes from the creators of Abzu. Once again, as far as art goes, I think the game looks great, has a very unique style. I'm not going to say it's a complete blowaway from a technical standpoint, but art direction, I think, is really strong in this game. Exploration elements are done well, and traversal is done really well here as well. Gameplay is alright as far as combat goes, but this is another one that you can't offer it as the main game, I think, but as a secondary or tertiary title, I think would be received relatively well. But that is going to do it for me. Again, whether or not any of these games hit Plus Essential or Extra in November, that remains to be seen, but I would say that each of these games would be pretty satisfactory. Like, it's always an issue when you own, you know, one of those games, but, you know, that's always going to be a reality that you have to deal with when it comes to PlayStation Plus as a whole, especially with Extra just being a bunch of back catalog games every month, sometimes a day one title. But, you know, Dying Light 2 being added, I think people would be very happy about. Tales of Arise, I think people would be very happy about. And with Tales of Arise, remember, a couple of Bandai Namco games already on Plus Extra. Scarlet Nexus is one of them, and Scarlet Nexus was a 2021 Bandai Namco title released a few months before Tales of Arise. Just throwing that out there, offering that bit of information to you guys. But that'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Let us know what games you'd like to see in November. Just keep it a little realistic. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.